Hello and welcome back. In our last video, we have seen how our navigation works. We have added our navigation bar. Inside our navigation bar, we have added two buttons, departments and employees. Then we added an event to those buttons, and clicking on departments, it is displaying department page, and clicking on employees, it is displaying employee page. So in today's video, we are going to create models and services for our Angular app. So what basically they are, let us discuss. So models or class are basically blueprint of our table structure. So basically when we create these models or classes to avoid writing a lot of variables, uh, it is very helpful to have classes or models in our application. So let's try to create models or classes. So we mainly have two tabs, right? Employee and department. So let's go back to our code. And here we are going to create a new folder inside app folder, and we will call it as models. Okay, so if you just check here, we have all sort of folders. So what we are interested in is click on app, and here we have new folder, and I am going to call it as models. Okay, so now we have one more what do you call folder name model. So inside models, let's create a file and call it as inside model. Let's create a file and let us call it as department models. Department model dot ts. Okay, department dash model dot ts. Fine. So here we'll create. So why we are calling it as TS? TS is basically a TypeScript language. For learning TypeScript, that is a different subject. All you have to do is just read little bit about it. But what TypeScript allow us, to write our classes same as .NET, the way we write in our .NET or C Sharp or Java. So wherein it gives you a freedom, to make sense of your code. So it has a structure of code. So here, the same way we are going to create a class, and we say export. Why export? Because we want to import this class in our components. That's why we have to use a keyword called export class. And here we have to give our class name. So I'm giving my class name as department, and just open and close bracket. And inside this, we have to have same property names as we have in our database. So if I just go back to database and see what we have in our department table columns, so just open that. And here in departments, I have mainly two columns, department ID and department name. In the same way, I'm going to have two properties here, and I'm going to call it as department ID. And since it is of type number, so I'll say number. So make sure you write correct spelling, number, semicolon, and then you have department name. Why we are giving same name? Because once you call your API, so it will map the column values if you have provide the same names. That's why we are going with same name. And here it is of type string. Voila. So we have created our department class. In the same way, just save it, and let's create one more model class, and just say new file, and give the file name as employee dash model and dot ts. Don't forget to add dot ts because it is very important file. When you compile your Angular app, it basically check for the TypeScript file, and it checks for the logic. So yeah, so once you open it again, write export class employee, and open close flower bracket, and inside this flower bracket again we are going to write its properties. Let's go back to our database and see what we have in our employee table. So if I just expand it, if I expand the columns, it will say employee ID, employee name, department, mail ID, and date of joining. Okay, let's go back to our code and create the same properties. So I'll say employee ID and it is of type number. Okay, and then we have employee name. Alhamdulillah, it is of type string, and then we have mail ID and it is of type string. So basically whatever name we have in our DB, we are going to create the same properties here. And phone number as number, and date of joining as date. Great. So we have created now two classes. Now the next thing what we want to do is we want to create the services. So what is a service? Basically, it is a file where you write all the logic to consume the web API methods. Okay, so now we are going to create two files for services. One is for a department and another is for employee. Even though we can write both logic within one file itself, but to make it simple and easier, and just to identify, like I said before, you better have separate files for separate logic, so that if at all you require any troubleshooting, you can go to that particular file and then you can do the necessary changes, you can do the troubleshooting. It is easier, to troubleshoot if you face any problem, or in future, if at all, if you require to do any logical changes, you know where to go and you can, simply make those changes in that file. Okay, so what what does a department service contain? If I am going to create a department service, so it contains all the methods that are required to consume web API methods. Okay, so what we'll do for that, so we want to know how do you create service, right? So let's go to command prompt inside the project location. So I'm just going there, start command prompt, enter, and my project is in a different location, so I'll just go to that location. I'll just copy this location here, and here I'll say E drive and CD and enter. Okay, it's giving some error here, so just give me a minute, uh, or we'll try to open it in command prompt here from here itself. Okay, there's some. Okay, so what we can do here is cd tutorial, which is this is my location, learn Angular and all that, and sorry, oh, cd enter. So inside that I have a repository here, so I'll go to repository, then yes, inside that I have emp. So let me just bigger the font of it so that it should be visible for everyone. So I'll just go here and I'll increase the font. I hope now it should be clear. Uh, Font 28. Okay, I hope this is clear. So cdemp, then employee portal. So if I say dir, I have an API project and I have a client project. So I'll say client, cd client. Just clear the screen. So we are now in a client folder. Then uh, uh, basically our project name is, let's see, our project name is Angular app. So I'll say Angular app. The reason to show you this is because my project is residing under this location. That's why I have to go and do all these CD changes. In your case, wherever you have saved your project folder, just go inside that project. And now it's time to create our service. So let me just clear the screen. And the command to create the service is ng service, and we say services slash employee employee. So what basically I'm saying is create a service inside services folder, and the service name will be employee. Okay, let us execute this. So what this will do is this will create one folder uh, inside our app folder. And if we just go back to our uh, code, here it should show us the folder. I think there is some mistake I have done here, so that's the reason I'm not able to create a service. So let me just go back and see what is the command I have here. Ng, yeah, I forgot ng generate. Ng generate. So what we are saying is generate a service employee inside services. So if I press enter, so this should create the folder. You see services app. Under app we have a folder called services, and under services we have the important file which is employee.service.ts. Specs is not useful for us, so we'll just simply use services.ts file. In the same way, I want to create one more service called department. So press enter. So if you can see the command here, ng generate service, and we are creating a department service under the services. If I just go back and see here, I have a folder here called services, and inside services I have employee.service.ts file, and I have a file called department.service.ts file. Okay, so now we have seen that the services got created, but there is one very important step that we need to do now, is go to your app module.ts and register your services over there. So I'll go to app module.ts, and here if you see, we have to check whether our services has got added here or not. So if you can see here, nothing has been added, right? So we have to add our services inside our providers. So just go inside our providers and say department service. So here you see it is checking that. Press tab, and you will notice that we have here the code. Let me just small it. So here department service from services. There is one more service which I want to add. So comma, and add our employee service here. Employee service. Okay, and it will add your employee service. If it doesn't add, so then you have to manually import this service from here. Okay, let's compile our application. So to do that, what we have to go is either you can go to terminal, and here I'll just kill the previous thing. I'll say kill terminal, and here I'll say ng serve, enter. So what I'm expecting is to whenever you write any code related, any change related to app modules and something like that, so you have to recompile your code. So it compiles successfully. If we just go back to our application, if I just reload it, everything is working as is, because we haven't added anything yet. So this is the end of our video. Thank you so much for visiting our videos. In our next video we'll see you. Until then, take care. Goodbye.